נדבר על תמי, כמו שאמרתי, אסף הוא דיג'י פרודקט חברת תמי, מהפרסונל רובוט, ואני אתן לו לדבר.
שלום שלום, נראה לי שהטרנד זה באנגלית, אז אני give it a shot. So hi, my name is Asaf, baking product for temi. Temi is a home robot. You may seem stuffed a little bit like that, but I think this is something one of a kind, and it's very different from the other robots you can see around. So I'll start by just showing you and explaining you what this needs to deliver. I assume most of you are familiar with Alexa or Siri, Cortana, or Google Assist. And what we try to do here is take this personal assistant and put it on wheels and add to it a screen. Last year, Amazon came out with the Echo Show, which is just like the Echo. It's a personal assistant that has a screen. This gave us a lot of confidence with what we do, but I think we have another step forward where we put in the mobility of the device. So I think these are pretty self-explanatory. They explain themselves, and you can see that we're talking about 5 years old height robot that follows you in the house. You can talk to it. It can deliver some information about whatever you ask and entertainment content to you. Unlike other assistants, you don't have to buy a lot of pieces and put them in different rooms. This is kind of the home telephone that maybe we had in the 80s, but like super advanced with technology. So this brings three things. It brings the assistant. The second thing is the video calls. I think it's very innovative in a way that it's really hands-free video calls. It's very common for me when I try to talk to my kids at home. My wife has to do this, this, to track my kids. And usually the conversation doesn't take more than 3 minutes because everybody's losing patience. And I think that this is an actual telepresence, and I can actually hang out in a place I'm not in, and hang out for a longer time. The third thing is the speakers. It has a subwoofer and tweeters. It's loud. It has a nice range of sound, and you know how a lot of people now have this Bluetooth speakers, which are really tiny and small. The sound does make a difference. It's kind of impressive. Yeah, so that's temi. And now I'm going to show you a short clip of the technology of what's in there. That's a baby. So you guys should be able to have this for $1,500 by the end of the year. So you don't have to save that much. But like I said, I'm doing product, so I'm not here to sell the product. I'm here to talk about something very specific in there. When I tell people that we're working on a personal robot that runs around your house, usually people think about something like that. And I can't do that. And I don't think anybody else can reach something like this now. And our mission was to create a home robot that is actually practical, usable, and makes sense nowadays. A lot of time people ask me, why don't you put eyes on it, or face and mimics? So first, I don't think we can create a real human being. I think Shelley also referred to that point. And we don't even want to try to do something like that. I would personally never work on a project that tries to substitute a human being. I think it's a silly idea. And when we tried to work on that, we came with this grid that puts humanoids versus devices. And if you look on this device, that's simple. The promise is very obvious. It's going to clean your floor, and you can trust it to do so. But when you're looking on this lady, she's scary, right? Yeah. She's scary, and I don't want anything like that in my house, because definitely not today, because it's definitely not a person, and I don't think her answers will be even interesting to me. So we try to understand where we want to put ourselves, because this is a home device. You still talk to it, and in our guts, we still want to make this humanoid thing, and we came up with this. It resembles a person, something like that, but it's definitely a device. So don't expect it to act like a person, expect it to act like a device. I think that makes our work a lot clearer, and the path is clearer. Maybe you know these guys, I call them the cute ones. They went on with the eyes concept and the face and the mimics concept. And what I see here is more a toy than a real serious platform that you can trust. When I started in Temi, the CEO came to me and he said, we're going to do the home robot iPhone. And I said, really? We're going to go for that? And he said, yeah, what's up with that? And we try to avoid all this toys energy and look and feel. We don't want to create something to play with. We want to create something that is actually usable in your house. Looking on the big companies' assistants, you can see that their UI and the message they try to pass is not, even though they sound really natural, these guys have the best synthesizers and it sounds like a real human being. But you can see that the UI is not even close, not even trying to be something like that. They need to pass the message that this is not a human being, it's a device. When we started to play with all different kind of concepts. You can see on the right some text messaging. We thought that maybe you need a confidant to see what the device heard, or what he thinks you said, and see what he's saying back, because maybe volume is not always very high. So this was tend to make some confident for the user. Then we went for some more romantic tests, something like some inspiration from Cortana and stuff like that, where these circles had different messages. Now it listens to you, now it's speaking to you, now it's processing, stuff like that. And we ended up with this. So this UI, I think it's kind of unique because, first of all, it resembles something very familiar, which is a text conversation. You have this on your WhatsApp, Messenger, or whatever you use. But unlike these platforms, this thing doesn't have a narrative. It doesn't have a log of events where you need to track something and think and understand the narrative. It just has a moment. The animation here, it goes up and down, and you need to pay attention only to what happens in the center, because this is a simple device. It's not something, it's not like a serious, deep talk. You might ask for pizza, you might ask for weather, you might ask it to call someone, or go somewhere, or be somewhere, but the interaction, the session, is actually very, very short. And this is what we tried to do here. Like, this is the center, my words are on the left, response on the right, everything fades out, and the center is what you're looking at. And that's it. Was this too brief? Yeah. It's my first run, guys, come on. Yeah, so guys at the office asked me to put this on the presentation. So if you find yourself here, please come over after the talk, and I can answer questions if you have something.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what are the advantages of Temi over Google Home or Alexa? What can I do with Temi that
Well, it's moving.
It's moving, but what can it help me with?
You can imagine like routines. Every day in the morning, go to the kids, play heavy metal to make them wake up, come to the living room, put some news or music, and start the oven, because it also has a smart house abilities. I can send messages through it. Whenever you see that guy, tell him something.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he has a little.
No, it's good. But like, is that like it is context aware and like place aware and stuff like this? So
Yeah, definitely. It knows where it is. It can track user. You can ask it to follow you. It has a one button on his head. When you tap the button, it just follows you. And you can just ask it to go wherever you want it to go. You need to define like safe locations. It's very, very easy and smooth experience. You just bring it to a place. You say, "Hey, Tini, this is the kitchen. This is the living room. This is the fridge. Whatever you can call it, Bobby's room, Johnny's room, whatever." And then you can just ask it to go there. It will be there. I don't know if you got this from the movies, but when you do the telepresence, we needed to think of a very easy experience to drive this thing. And we don't want to create a device for gamers, so we don't want to have any joysticks. We don't, you can't, I can't expect you to be skillful with driving this. So our solution was just showing you the safe location on the mobile phone, and then you can just navigate from one place to another. You can add locations from the mobile phone, or you can just tap and it will adjust itself to show you what you're interested in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. It was teeny at first. No one really liked it. And now it's technology for me. That's the story marketing. Yes? Is high? Yeah. We don't think it's high. 1,500 for such a robot, we don't think it's high. Pepper or stuff you saw before are a lot more expensive. They're not consumers' products. Right. Yeah. Yeah, we aimed for a MacBook Pro price. We figured if people buy this, they might want to do this. You definitely should think this is a cool thing to go for it, right? Because it's a little more expensive than the iPhone. But we think it's affordable. Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of processing power you like?
Well, I don't know. I can't answer the head is an Android device, and the bottom is a different computer. I'm not familiar with all the technical parts.
So you guys, you develop the platform and the applications as well, or you expect others to develop applications?
That's a good question. We develop the platform, like the OS. It's basically a launcher for Android. We also develop in-house applications just to make sure you have some contact in there. But everything is based on an SDK we develop. We definitely aim, I think that's like pretty obvious on such devices, to have an SDK and allow third-party developers to be able to develop whatever they want. So you can develop. It should be pretty exciting because it allows you to create some applications you can't think of before, like movement games, dancing games, stuff like that.
שאלה אחרונה, one last question. You can also meet Asaf also afterwards.
The voice recognition, it's something that you buy, you develop by yourself, or?
Well, we had a lot of tests. At the moment, we're using Google Cloud Services. Voice is kind of complex. It has different components in there. You need to wake it up so it will know that you talk to it. You need to figure out what was there, what are the words, and then you need to figure out what was the intention of the user. I mean, words are just meaningless. So you need to figure out that, and then you need a synthesizer to play something out. So it has different components. At the moment, we're using Google ones.
The wording of the machine, wash the dishes and talk to it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually working. Seriously. It's still.
What is not connected, it's useless, right?
What, you mean internet? Well, at the moment, yes. We think of like basic features that needs to be available offline, like go home, go away, at least don't be stuck in the middle of the room. Yeah, it depends on connection, the connectivity. All right, thank you.
תודה רבה.